Hey, it's Eric with the Future Mill. If you have not heard of us, we are an investment advisory firm helping you invest your money, manage your money, and create financial plans to make sure you are on track. If you have not yet, go to thefuturemill.com, click Get Started, book a call. We'll be happy to help you. But today, I want to talk to you about your savings. Not the amount of money that you are saving on a regular basis, but the savings in your bank account. The liquid money that you have, the moolah, the big green, you know, that stuff. That's what I want to talk about today because I've seen people who have had anywhere from a negative balance all the way up to $200,000 sitting in your bank account. But what's the right number for you? Let's talk about it. Let's do this. Let's get right to the chase. You know I am not one for fluff. I'm going to tell you the rule of thumb, and that is 3 to 6 months living expenses should be in your savings account. You've probably already heard that before though, and you're like, okay, 3 to 6 months living expenses. Let me do this. Okay, so I've got my house payment. Well, we go out to eat quite a bit. Well, no, cut all that out. I want to teach you what you should really have in your bank account as far as living expenses, how to budget that, how to calculate that. And then I'm also going to talk to you about if you have too little, you need to work on it. And if you have too much, what we need to do. So let's get started with this. First, I want to start with living expenses. What exactly is that? Well, yes, you do have your mortgage. Yes, you have the food you have to eat, the car you're driving. If you have a car payment, you may have gas that you've got to have to get to your job unless you Uber everywhere. So those are the things that you're going to need to calculate in living expenses. But you don't need to calculate in vacations, beer, cigarettes, and whatever else you decide to do on the side that you don't have to have. The reason I say this is because the 3 to 6 months in your bank account is an emergency reserve. It's not a vacation fund. It's not an entertainment fund. This is if you were to lose your job tomorrow, you have 3 to 6 months to buy you some time to get a new job. Or if the roof leaks, hey, you've got to tap into that because you need a new roof. It's expensive. The air condition goes out. But the emergency reserve is not the vacation fund. Make sure you remember that. Oh man, we're short this month. We really want to go on a cruise though. Let's tap into this $1,500 we have sitting in savings. No, don't do it. Now that you know what the emergency reserve is, what should be in there, let's say you have $1 in your savings account. Don't get discouraged. You have to start somewhere. Everybody started with $1, or actually no, they started at 0. That's where they started. So if you have 0 or $1 in your bank account, it's okay. What you have to do is actually set a goal and start working towards building up that 3 to 6 months. It may take you 3 years to build up 3 to 6 months in emergency reserves. And if that's the case, don't get frustrated and give up. What you need to do is set small incremental goals. Let's say $100. Get to $100 first, then get to $200, then get to $500, then get to $1,000. You're going to see it get easier as you keep doing this, and you've set a pattern where you're saving to build up that emergency reserve. If this is you that is just getting started building up your savings account, know that you're not alone. According to GoBankingRates.com, 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. My goal is not to beat you over the head and tell you what you are doing wrong, but instead to build you up and say that you can do this, and I know you can. So start saving now, set the goals, and get that emergency fund built. Now for the other end of the spectrum, the people who have $200,000 or even more in savings. I met with someone recently who had $400,000 in savings. They never wanted to spend below $200,000, and their monthly expenses were $5,000 per month. It was more than double their salary. So this would have bought them over 2 years' time, and they worked a standard job. They weren't business owners. So for these people, it was costing them a significant amount of money because according to FDIC.gov, the average savings account is getting 0.09% currently, and USInflationCalculator.com said in 2019, 2.3% was the average inflation rate for the United States. So if you take that into perspective, they were getting 0.09% on their money. That is less than 1%. That is less than 0.1%. But the cost of living in America went up 2.3%. So they need to get at least 2.3% on their money to keep up with the average inflation rate that has been going on. So let's look at calculators.org, where I plug the numbers in of getting 0.09% in interest in your savings account, having 2.3% average inflation for the next 10 years, and let's look at what $200,000 would be, but also what it would be in current dollars and what it would be in future dollars. The difference there is in current dollars is what it is today, but in future dollars, building in inflation and the cost of living increase, the money will actually go down. So check this out. With $200,000 in the bank and getting 0.09% interest, the interest earned is $1,807.31 for 10 years. So the gross future value on $200,000 at the 0.09% interest is $201,807.31. But if you calculate in inflation, this $201,807.31 is actually only worth in future dollars $160,760.95. So the $200,000 today would be $40,000 less just by letting it sit in a savings account getting 0.09% interest. The key is to make sure that you have enough money on hand for emergency purposes, but not too much money where it is actually costing you. Now for business owners, entrepreneurs, those that are needing a significant amount of cash on hand, I get it. You may need more than 6 months emergency reserves. I would always tell you to go consult with a financial professional who would talk to you about this and help you plan to make sure you have a backup for funds. Because I have seen in 2008, contractors who went out of business and lost everything because they had not set aside more than 6 months emergency reserves. So this is just a rule of thumb to give you an idea of what you need in your bank account. If you have any questions, go to thefuturemill.com. We'll be happy to help you. And as always, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.